Hey guys, it's Spaces Sims, and we are back with more Radiant Tale. My brain is like, what game am I playing right now? Holy crap. Anyway, we were in chapter 3 of the common-esque route. Technically the common route, but we're doing Ion-specific stuff, so we're in the middle of one of those scenes. I think we'll be able to probably get to his main chapters by the end of this part, so, because we're like got chapter 4 and 5, I think, before we hit his route. So, anyway. Relatives of our couple, esteemed guests and participants, as well as everyone who heard the bell of blessing. Right, we were going to check out the underwater park, felt awkward about to leave, and then we heard wedding bells, so we decided to go check it out. You happen to be present on this fortunate day and place. How wonderful! Please join us in celebration of this lucky encounter. Yet another new bond was born in the lands which the Great Spirit Leave watches over. Wow, look, Ion! Bride is so pretty. The announcer's voice echoed in the plaza of the underwater park. At the center of it all was a bride and groom with blissful smiles, leaning into each other as they waved to the surrounding people. Guess it's normal here for passers-by to join in and give blessings. It'd be pretty unthinkable in the capital, but a wedding like this sounds wonderful, too. Regardless of age, gender, or relationship, everyone present gave their blessings to the bride and groom, seeming used to this custom. After the exchange of rings, let's move on to the bride and groom's vows. Will you pledge your love will remain unchanged in sickness and in health? To still love someone in sickness, huh? Ion? There's a grim note in his muttering, so I turned to look up at him next to me. Aww. Just feeling sorry for yourself, buddy. Sad, because, like, I wonder if... That's interesting, though. Well, because, you know, I mean, like, we know he was, like, a gladiator slave and stuff like that, but you almost make it sound like you have, like, a lost love, but it's like, you didn't have time for that shit, to be fair. But I wonder if there's some other, like, weird backstory part that, like, kind of ties into that. Or if it's more like, oh, yeah, well... Just thinking like, oh, having a person who actually loves you when you're sick because I was a slave and when I wasn't feeling well, they just beat me. You know what I mean? Like, I could see you making that connection if you think about it, like in Ion's place. You're like, yeah, people only, quote unquote, liked me when I was winning duels and shit like that. And if I wasn't up to snuff, I was ill or weak, people treated me like garbage. But to be fair, you were treated like garbage to begin with because you were treated like a slave and nobody, like, you know what I mean? Like, by that default, you should just be pissed because having slaves is awful and being a slave is awful. I mean, I've never been one, but I'm just assuming because people aren't, like, respectful of their slaves. They basically have them because they think these other people are garbage, which is kind of fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, you weren't like, oh, no, this is not a person you're paying, like, a maid or a butler, where they're your quote-unquote servants, where you probably still, if you're super rich hoity-toity, you probably still think of those people as trash compared to you, depending on who you are, but, like, the mentality of a person who owns other people as property, I don't think you ever had any respect for those people, clearly. You know what I mean? So, like, I could see Ion's perspective here, like, yeah, they did, but it's like they never cared about you to begin with. But I could see it felt worse. Like, people were at least cheering for you, and you felt like people cared. Maybe you could pretend when you were winning, but when you were sick or injured, that's when all their real feelings came out. You know what I mean? Like, nobody took care of you when you were sick. Like, that's kind of sad. Kind of sad. We'll take care of you. It'll be fine. You're gonna end up catching a cold or some stupid shit in your route, and we're gonna have to take care of you. And you're gonna be like, why are you of me when I'm sick? And he's going to be very confused by that. Kind of adorable. Ion, who'd fixed his eyes on the ceremony, seemed to be somewhat melancholic. No, it's nothing. But you don't look like it's nothing. Please do not mind me. I do not want to ruin this delightful moment. Hearing that, I stopped asking, tried asking more. I feel like we should stop asking, because that's... I mean, stop asking because that's respectful of his wishes, but trying to ask more is also like showing that we care about his opinions and his thoughts. You know what I mean? I Either one could be good or bad. I don't really know. So tried asking more. Okay. Right. Remember, now I'm going to click this and look at that little panel on the right there and see if I think it comes up. Okay, no. I swear I saw his name pop up. Oh, maybe it did because we were choosing between Ion and Zephora in that instance. Okay. Because I swear I saw his name pop up there and I was like, huh. So nothing happened this time. Okay. I must be crazy. Even if you tell me not to mind, you're only making me more concerned. Oh, there. Okay, never mind. It does. Okay, I was right. All right, I'm not crazy. You hear a twinkling bell and then it pops up there and it turns that whole panel like where that little bottom flower is. It says his name if you weren't paying attention. And then that upper flower turns green. So it's basically whatever, I guess, color he is. I'm assuming. So I would assume like, whatever. Like a seafoamy color. That's cute. So that's cool. So guys, we played a whole fucking, 14, 15 freaking parts for the common route, and I never noticed that. Never noticed it. I'm not very observant. I noticed how tall Ion is, because his head doesn't even fit on the screen, but I totally didn't notice that. I don't know if it was... Well, maybe actually it didn't count. Well, we did some raidy things, so you think that would have counted, but maybe none of the stuff we really did before... No, because certain... Well, no, because when we sat with Zephora the one time we chose it, that's not a lie, right? Instead of I trust you is probably the Zephora answer. The other one is basic. So maybe we never got that popping up before because we weren't doing anything that was character specific. You know what I mean? And because Vilio he's got his own common route, so nothing would count for him, so. I stared at Ion with eyes of protest until he caved with a sigh. And this is not an appropriate topic for a celebration, but I have a hard time comprehending the merits of marriage. If you are wed, another human will interfere and hold control over your life. Oh, sweetie, marriage is not like slave ownership. That is so sad. It is so sad he is taking his experience and equating that with marriage when it's different. Well, it should be. Some people actually think they own you when you're married, and it's kind of fucked up. But generally, most people are like, yay, a partnership and someone to share things with, not someone to control. Oh. Is that truly something desirable? Leon spoke quietly in a detached tone, as if he wasn't really looking at the wedding anymore. My intuition told me that his words weren't truly referring to marriage. Though I felt that something was off, I still answered his question honestly. True, some people would probably dislike the idea of their life no longer being their own. I think people interfering with your life isn't necessarily a bad thing. Also, that's not what marriage is about. Maybe we should have led with that. You'd realize things that you were blind to alone. You might even discover a new side of yourself. I would be like, look at the way we work in circus. We're friends and we're partners. It's like that. There's just, more romance involved. You don't want to hold Zephora's hand. Well, I do, but that's different. You know what I mean? And again, I haven't even been in a relationship, much less a marriage, so I probably don't have the right to talk. No, I see. As some people would consider it that way. Leon fell silent for a while. Then, seeming to have collected himself, he spoke again. Either way, weddings are something rather inconceivable to me. Well, yeah, I can understand that. I've never really thought about them either. I gave him a wry smile. At that moment, the energetic voice of the announcer rang out. Everyone, attention please! This is the moment we've all been waiting for! The bouquet toss! Oh, we are so fucking catching this bouquet, aren't we? I hope Ion catches it, because that'd be cute as shit. Bouquet toss, an event where the bride throws her wedding bouquet to a crowd of unmarried women. Rumor has it that the woman who catches the bouquet will marry in the near future. In Oriens, water spirits carry the throne bouquet. Well, that seems rigged. Before you catch it and everybody knocks each other out of the way. I always hated that because I'm like, please don't. That's embarrassing. Or their garter toss. Everybody makes it pervy. Do people still do that shit when they get married? It's been a long time since I've been to a wedding. Like, when was the last wedding I went to? My own? That was a long time ago. Like, seriously? I don't think I've been to a wedding since my own. Huh. And I don't remember much of it because I blocked a lot of it out. Because you know what? When you marry a douchebag and then you get divorced, you don't want to remember that shit. Yeah, I just, okay, like, my nephew got married, but it was more like, they kind of went to a courthouse thing and then they did, like, pictures and shit like that in Paris. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't really a wedding. It was like, okay, they got all dressed up and they did, like, I guess a little ceremony thing, but you can't really legally get married in Paris if you're American. Like, I don't think, like, there's probably a lot more paperwork about, like, you know what I mean? I don't think, but it was more like, you know, just for the sake of it, but the legal marriage shit was just like, okay, we went to the courthouse to file the papers and stuff like that type of a thing. So, like, I haven't actually been to a real wedding in, like, fucking forever, so, wow. It's weird the shit you forget. You're like, how does that work? Not like riding a bicycle, okay? Where it's like, oh, it's like riding a bicycle, you know? I'm pretty fucking sure if I tried to ride a bike, I'd fall over right now. So, like, that's a really bad, like, equation to make. So, like, with weddings, it's like, what do we do now? Do we do these things? Do people still get married? People still do that shit? You don't all just live at home in your hobbit holes by yourselves, being afraid to talk to other people? There are normal people who like talking to people? I don't understand this shit. But anyway. Oh god, I can't believe. First, the bouquet goes from the bride to the water spirits, who will receive it in the end. Who will receive it in the end? And I feel like, but this is rigged, because normally you just chuck it, right? But this is the water spirits carry it, and the water spirits then decide you. And they give it to you. So it's not really fair. You could have bribed the water spirits. It seemed that even the bouquet toss was different in the city of water spirits. The bride gently lifted the bouquet, and sparkling light surrounded it. It was carried slowly through the area, as if it were drifting in water. The spirits decide, though, who is worthy, as opposed to, like, you have a bunch of fucking bridesmaid Zillas knocking each other out trying to grab it. Over here, come to me! Hey, don't lean into it. Let the spirits decide on their own. We are so being handed that bouquet by the spirits. Oh, God. Oh, God. The bouquet drifted and drifted. Wait. It's flowing in my direction? You fucking had to know. My hopes that it would pass by went unanswered as the bouquet stopped right above my head. Then it fell straight down in my direction. Flustered, I hurriedly reached out, but in the fraction of the time before I could grab it... Careful! I love this CG so fucking much, guys. I fucking love this. I was like, Ion's gonna catch it, but then it's like water spirits handed to you, and no, but he caught it! He basically grabbed this, oh my god, I was gonna hurt you! And now there's this big strong man with this pretty little bouquet, and it's adorable, and I love this so much, and I'm dying. I love it. Wait. Oh, okay. It was done. I couldn't see the text on the screen. Okay. The spectators and us were all just like, Huh? Wow, now that's unexpected. The one who received it was a man. Did I perhaps mess up? Isn't that obvious? The bouquet at a wedding is meant for unmarried women. Oh wait, I said that. Bouquet at a wedding is meant for unmarried women! Sorry. Well, it suddenly fell toward you, and I didn't want it to harm you. I knew he was a little out of touch with the world sometimes, but I hurriedly looked around, but it was too late. The wedded couple shared a wry smile, but the woman who had their sights on the bouquet glared daggers at him. Please allow me to apologize on our Ion's behalf. I was about to say that, but understood. In that case. Aww, and now he's giving us the bouquet. I do like how in the underwater park, like, there are, like, I kind of assumed it was like, oh, it's like you're walking underwater, like you do in those little tunnels in, like, you know, when you're in, like, aquariums that might have the little tunnels where you're walking and the fish tanks all around you. But this is literally, like, actually, like, we're walking underwater and we can breathe, because, like, there's little bubbles and stuff. Like, I don't know why, like, I'm pretty sure they made that clear, but, like, my brain wasn't, like, connecting it, you know what I mean? Huh? A floral fragrance tickled my nose. He gently handed over the chloris bouquet, now blooming in full glory before my eyes. Huh? What? Huh? This... And this is meant for unmarried women, yes? Or was I just unaware and you were actually married? No, I'm single. I see. I'm glad. What do you mean by glad? I was thrown for a loop, but that didn't mean I didn't want the bouquet. I gingerly took it. What do you mean you're glad I'm single? Because then otherwise he made another faux pas, probably. Like, maybe, you know, maybe there's some interest here, so slightly budding, but I don't think he'd be aware of it. I was a little worried at first, but wow! It turned out to be a tasteful surprise. It seems that the man only reached out for the bouquet to give it to his beloved. Huh? I think they have the misunderstanding of the century. I'm certain these two will be the ones who toss the bouquet next. Congrats! You're such a passionate couple. How long have you two been together? Wait, Ion, help me out here. Together? We have not known each other for too long. You already at this stage, despite just becoming an item? Wow, your girl is much more daring than she looks. Ion! Bridegroom, congratulations on your marriage! I dragged away Ion, blinking in stupor, and started running to flee the scene. The scene is great. I love it. What do I do with this bouquet now? Well, I yelled inside my panicked mind. So good. Guys, so good. Evening fell. We reconvened to report on the day's findings from the city, but before we began... Okay. We just glossed over the fact that I caught a bouquet. They're like, where'd you get those flowers? Fucking Zephora would absolutely mention it. Know it. Zephora would mention it knowing. Just a fucking Goju. Rady would mention it also for the same reason. Villia would ask because he's an idiot. Like, oh, hey, where'd you get those flowers? Let's talk about it. And Pashalia would be like, oh, they're just really pretty. You know what I mean? Like, Ginny would just chuckle in the corner. The next day, we set out into town. Together with Pashalia and Ion, I arrived at the main street. Okay, so it's interesting. I wonder if this scene is a little different depending on whose kind of route you're in. You know what I mean? Because, like, we've been picking Ion. So here, like, so in the last one, in Kultura, we were with Zephora and Ion, and then we had to choose Zephora or Ion. And here, we're with Pashalia and Ion. And this is more of Pashalia's kind of chapter. You know what I mean? So it's really interesting. So I wonder... Like, when we go and choose Pashalia, right? If it's Zephora and Pashalia then in that scene. And we have to choose... You know what I mean? Like... Or is it going to be something different where it's like... Pashalia and Villia, we're going somewhere... You know what I mean? Like, how are they going to do that? Because it seems interesting to me that right now, everybody's particular chapter... Like... And I would think that when we're in Pashalia's route, and we'll see that hopefully soon, with Ion, is like when we're in their particular chapter / city, it's just them. So like when we get to Ferris, it's not going to be like, oh, we're with Ion and somebody else and we have to choose. It'll just be Ion. You know what I mean? I don't know, we'll see, but... Together with Pashalia and Ion, I arrived at the main street. Are there spirits around Pashalia? Yes, there are many in the canal over... You cheater! I was so blind! I'm not sure. Well, I was thinking like it's obviously cheater like a romance partner anyway. I feel like it should have been like Orion's woman and Orion's man or whatever. Anyway, I'm not sure which is anyway. How did you come to that conclusion? Please hear me out. We all shared a look as we were interrupted by a heated argument between a man and a woman. I feel like my gut would have been like the woman's like, "You cheater," because that's usually the way it goes. But in this case, we read the man's line first, so now the lady's a horrible, horrible cheater. The thing that just flew by, was that a wine bottle? Yes, it seems so. It broke through the window of that establishment. That's way too dangerous for some quarrel. If someone had been struck by that bottle, I shuddered at the thought. This is terrible. Look, the bottle broke and its contents are flowing into the canal. At this rate, the spirits will... Just like Pashalia had worried, the canal changed color and there was a small splash. And don't cry, everyone. It's okay. Huh? And Pashalia, what are the spirits saying? Apparently this is a common thing around here. They're referring to how people pollute their home, but the spirits are really sad to see humans arguing. They say they want everyone to get along. Their wish was so pure and earnest that I felt my chest tighten. They aren't angry at the disregard for them. They're worried about the people fighting. Yet... Yeah, let's go and stop them. Indeed. We cannot turn a blind eye to this. You. Well, that's true, because we were with Sephora and, Bilio and Rady in this scene, and we did the cleanup stuff, so. Welcome! Wait, Leon? Then it's Cheers, Orion's branch. The exterior is so different from the other branches that I didn't realize. I forgot Leon's voice. I really did, but, doesn't matter. He was a little more flirty and not as, Brody anyway. We matched the facade to the scenery of the city. After all, the cityscape's part of the tourist experience in Orion's. Okay, so a table for 3, right? Would you like to order now? Sorry, we were here to eat at the moment. I think there were people fighting just now, right? Oh, you mean the couple near the window? Those 2 are regulars here, Liz and Jean. Or Jean. Liz and Jean. Jean. Usually they're on good terms, but they're out of control today for some reason. I was honestly lost about what to do. Apparently it's about Jean's affair. I'll need to ask them to compensate me for the window later. Leon's gaze shifted to the couple, and mine followed suit. The 2 were glaring at each other as if they could explode at any time. You've been flirting with other women! How can I trust you anymore? Why don't you believe me? I'm not cheating on you! The woman, Liz, was crying. The man, Jean, was being accused of cheating, but his reaction was unusual given the circumstance. I'll go ask her about what happened. Saying that, Pashalia went over to the crying woman. In that case, I shall hear him out. Ion headed toward the man. We're going to Jean because we're going with Ion, obviously. Yeah. And see, we'll get a little thing as soon as this happens where it'll pop up and it'll show Ion after this line. Pashalia comforted Liz while going with her to another table. See? And it's like the little green flower. I like that. Meanwhile, Ion and I sat in the seat across from Jean. Seats, plural, not in the same one. Sorry about our interruption. No, thank you for stopping that. I couldn't do anything about it. Our friend over there is a great listener, so rest assured, she's in good hands. We were observing for a bit, but you seem to have objections about her claims. If possible, could you tell us more about what happened? Jean's eyes teared up as he heard Ion's offer. Ugh, how did it come to this? I only wanted to make her happy. We heard the word cheating. No, I didn't cheat. I was researching fancy ways to confess. Researching ways to confess? My apologies, but I'm afraid I have trouble keeping up. You have plans to confess to her, which means that you 2 are not in a romantic relationship yet. Is that correct? Yeah, more than friends, less than lovers. He spoke the words so confidently that Ion and I were taken aback. Sorry, could you explain this step by step? We've been friends for a long time, you see. I feel so comfortable with her. When we're together, I can just be myself. When I realized that, I understood my feelings. But if I wanted to confess, just telling her straight out would be so bland, right? That's why I asked my lady friend for help to come up with a grand operation. And she got the wrong idea when she saw you discussing that with her, right? But it was necessary! One of my other friends made a spectacular confession on the water. I can't lose to him! I don't see how winning or losing comes into play with a confession. Do you only want to win against your friend? Huh? From what I've gathered, you seem to be merely competing. But I don't believe that professing your feelings is a competition, is it? I agree with you, Ion. The way you or anyone else confesses isn't what matters. It's your feelings. But she might be happier if I make it really showy. Is that how it works? Ion asked me with a puzzled look on his face. Well, I think it depends on the person. Personally, I think just hearing the confession itself would make me happy. The flashiness of it is irrelevant. Earlier, you told us your feelings very clearly. I bet you can just go for it and tell her, plain and simple. I'm sure she'd be happy. It's funny that she got mad through a bottle out a fucking window. But you're cheating on me! And he's like, but I've never confessed my feelings to you. She obviously thought they were in a relationship, so communication is key here, kids. And that is an opinion from a fellow woman. I think you should consider it. I see. Yeah, I think I might have overlooked something really important. Thank you, I'll try talking to her again. He seemed to have made up his mind as he stood from his seat and walked toward her. We watched him in silence from a distance. Looks like it worked out after all. As Jean embraced Liz, my shoulders sagged in relief. Ion must have given him great advice. No, I believe that you are more versed in such matters, Pashalia. And that's not the case at all. Pretty oblivious in matters of love. Really? And that is surprising. When you held out a handkerchief to the crying woman, your attitude convinced me you were apt at communicating with women. I was fine this time because it was an issue that even I could give advice on. But if it were about something I'd need relationship experience to understand, it wouldn't have gone so smoothly. Oh, really now? But you have a face like a charming prince. I'm sure any girl in the world would lunge at you on sight. Listen, Leon, okay? I'm biding my time. I'm slowly building up my man harem. Shh. Let him know what I'm up to. I could see that. Wait, Leon, don't just barge into our conversation. Aw, don't say that. Here, I'll give these to you on the house. He placed down 3 plates, a shortcake, a Mont Blanc, and a chocolate gâteau. Gâteau? Seems like you 3 solved the case, so here's my token of gratitude. You sure? Thanks. Shalia, Ion, which one would you like? Shalia, is something wrong? Shalia, who'd been fixated on the cakes, looked absolutely stumped as he turned to us. What do I do? They all look so nice. I can't choose. We're going to split them 3 ways. Ooh! I like our double dates here with our boyfriends. Leon called him a charming prince, but Pashalia also had such a cute side. You may have my portion if you wish. I can't do that. This is a reward for all of us. Okay, let's cut these into thirds. Thirds? Cut them into equal thirds. We each get to try all 3, right? With that said, Pashalia looked to Ion. Ion, I'm sure you can cut them cleanly, right? These cakes are very small. I might accidentally crush them. Fine. I know how thoroughly and carefully you are with everything you do, Ion. Yeah, your cooking prep's always perfect. That too. You managed to keep that squid ink from staining anything. He's practically a homemaker. I am sorely lacking compared to those who support and protect their homes. I still have much to learn. Wow, you see them as rivals, do you? Here, you can use this knife to cut them. Pashalia held out a knife with a smile, and Ion looked resigned to his fate. He accepted the knife without a word and began cutting the cake while looking troubled. I can't wait for us to try them. Even if you smoosh them, it's fine. They'll still taste delicious. We polished off the cakes, which Ion had cut perfectly, before leaving Cheers. Ah, I see the spirit from earlier. I'll go tell them those two managed to make peace with each other. After hearing the good news, the spirit was apparently elated. Spirits there thanked Pashalia, so we told them about our show. After that, the spirits spread the news to their other brethren in the canal. And in the end, we secured the cooperation of lots of spirits for our show. So this is going to be a few days of okay, yeah. I'm all of a sudden so fucking hungry. Like all of a sudden my stomach is like, we're dying! We need food! Oh my god! You're not dying, stomach. Get over it. Here's our show. Every time that sexy clown bastard pops up, my heart just skips a beat. Like, Pashalia is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I can't blame anyone for loving him, but like, God, I love this stupid clown bastard. God, I love him. Intermission. Not quite chapter 4, though. Not there. Yet. Skip to Maloo. Super blessed with their lovely glasses, nerd. It's really a nerd, because he's like a nerdy over the prince. He's like an obsessed fangirl, and you know what? I vibe with it. It's like me playing Otome games or watching anime or just, whatever. Weeby little fangirl, and that's basically a lust for the prince, so. You're like, so oh my god, did you want to talk about the prince? Oh my god, I'll talk about the prince. Hold on. I got a whole spiel. Me with insert whatever I'm currently obsessed with. Goes in cycles. But Anyway. Hanging out here. So, okay, this is the thing where we're gonna go off with Ion at some point in this, and I wonder if then we're alone with him. Where we don't have to choose, like, go with person A or B. You know what I mean? Or we'll see how it's split. But anyway. House tent. There we go. Outer ring with Ion. In the early afternoon, the day after we decided to investigate Ferris as a team, I was wandering around the commercial area of the inner ring. Something smells really nice over there. Lured by the delectable aroma, I pressed on. In a passage near the entrance to one of the arenas, vendors were gathered around with small wagons selling light meals. I'd gotten a glimpse yesterday, but this time I took the chance to explore. Vendors must gather around arenas with upcoming duels. Even brick-and-mortar shops are mostly built near the arenas. Hello there, excuse me. May I have one of those toasted sandwiches? Huh? Oh, what a rare customer we got here. Here you go, thanks for choosing us. First I was puzzled as to why he called me rare. But after I purchased the sandwich, distanced myself, and observed the shops once more, you're the only woman here? Wow. Men everywhere. That's the way we like it. This is what happens when I roll up into the man harem. Men everywhere. And again, that's how I like it in my man harem, so. I'd taken note of the bustling business here, but upon a second look, the customer base was very homogeneous. Almost all were men. Where are the women and children? Pondering that, I walked on. I spotted a familiar figure ahead of me in the passage and halted my footsteps. I'm gonna guess, Ion, maybe? We specifically chose to go after Ion, and we're doing his route, so, That's a performance troupe backed by the government going around and entertaining people, When I heard you were a part of it, I thought it was one big joke. I don't remember Avi's voice either, but I am aware that it doesn't suit me. I'm surprised they even let you. Did they find the ring or something? No. Unfortunately, the search is still in progress. Huh. And they gave you permission to travel around despite that? Personally, I would prefer it to stay missing forever. But considering its significance, that cannot be allowed. Yep, sounds about right. No matter what we think about it, it's one of the national treasures used in coronations and all. Indeed. Well, since we go way back, I'll keep an eye on the ring, out for the ring on my side, wherever I can. The city especially hates Big Brother right now. So as an insider, it'll be easier for me to probe around. This is so not the voice we gave him, but I can't fucking get it. No. Please do. Thank you. Still, it's rather dangerous they don't know where the ring is. Circus guys sure have guts letting you in. Didn't anyone object? No. Other than Ginia, other than our leader, no one else is aware. According to the group, disclosing unneeded information would only be cause for discord, so it's better kept secret. And so you're going along with that and hiding your past, huh? Are you that against them finding out? Ring? Past? What in the world are they talking about? It's kind of interesting because there is like the whole missing ring, the Ferris ring, the whatever what. But it is funny that they're talking about it, so now it's curious because I kind of forgot about that, you know what I mean? In the common route, they didn't really bring it up, and now it's like, oh, wait a minute. Though I felt guilty for listening in, I continued to peek at them. This is probably Luna. What are you doing? Ah! I don't think I warranted such a reaction. Sorry, I was deep in thought. You were the receptionist at the arena. Luna, was it? Yeah. Do you have business with Avi? If you need him, I can call him over. Nah, it's fine. I was only passing by. Did you just finish work, perhaps? You're very admirable going to work at your age. I started helping out at Liber when I was about as old as her, but usually people wouldn't start their first official job until around my current age. I don't know about in other cities, but this is normal in Ferris. Almost everyone my age has jobs. Even the age people start working is completely different between cities, huh? Once again, I experienced a sense of culture shock. To add to the impression I'd gotten when she attended to us the day before, she was rather mature and detached for her age. I thought children were usually much more excitable. How do I put it? She feels much older than she looks. As I thought about her, Luna shrugged and spoke in a subdued whisper. Plus, I don't have a family. I can't live if I don't earn money. Oh, I see. My gaze drifted downward, but Luna just looked at me with the same cool eyes. Leave the pity if that's what this is. There are lots of people like me. No, it's not pity. It's just that we're the same. I don't have parents either. Really? Yeah, they passed away when I was a child. I'd intended to say that in a matter-of-fact way, but I wasn't confident that I'd managed to suppress my emotions. My memories of my parents were disjointed, vague fragments from far away in the past. Right now I had precious family in Spiria and Rady, but whenever I recalled my parents, my chest still felt tight. Give me your hand. Luna spoke to me in a gentle voice as I cast my eyes down. Puzzled, I offered her my hand. She drew a mysterious triangular symbol onto my hand with her finger. This is a spell that my gladiator papa taught me. It'll make you brave. Symbol of bravery. A triangular mark on Luna's dad's arm. Luna said drawing the symbol on her palm gave her courage. That's fucking sweet. Like her dad had like a tattoo mark, and then so she like draws and like kind of fucking adorable. It's called the symbol of bravery. This symbol was on Papa's arm too. You'd teach me such a precious spell? I usually don't teach anyone, but we're comrades without our mama and papa, so I'll make an exception. Because you seem really sad just now. Thank you, Luna. I was elated to receive such compassion. Moved by her gesture, I collapsed the hand that she drew on and squeezed it as I thanked her. I clasped, sorry. You're welcome. Luna smiled as she replied. Luna, a young girl who works as a receptionist at Ferris's Arenas. Ever since her gladiator father died, she's been living alone and reciting the bravery spell he taught her. She and our hero would quickly strike up a bond because they're both orphans. Orphan besties! At first she seems so aloof, but when she smiles, she's just like any other girl her age, and she's adorable. I'd come across all kinds of people, both at Liber and during our journey, but for some reason Luna seemed to have earned herself a special corner of my heart. Sweet. This game is so fluffy and adorable, and I love it. Spacey, what are you doing here? They must have finished their discussion, because Ion and Avi were now approaching us. Huh? Pretty rare to see Luna having a little chat with someone. Lunch break should be over soon, by the way. Right. I'll get back to work. See you again, Spacey. Okay, thanks, Luna. Later, Zion. See ya. After Avi and Luna left, Ion and I decided that we might as well wander around the city together. Hello, everyone! Our fried chicken's piping hot and tastes divine! And listen to this! For every 3 pieces you buy, you'll get a special ticket to an A-rank gladiator duel. The gladiators are random, but they're all A-rank. You just know it'll be a good show. Don't miss out on our special offer. What's all that A-rank stuff about? That's a gladiator rank. Gladiator rank. Gladiators are ranked depending on their strength into A rank, B rank, and C rank. The stronger the gladiator, the more expensive their services are. And fighters are classified into A, B, or C rank depending on their strength. A rank is the strongest, and therefore the most popular. This city prizes power above all else, so gladiators are held in high regard. To be blunt, the top gladiators and arena owners are more influential than the mayor. In practice, I hear that the minor arena owners are the true governors of this city. Interesting. And Abby's a big shot, huh? When Abby's name slipped out of my mouth, my words ground to a halt. What should I do? Can I ask him about what I overheard just now? Ion, I have a question. What's the ring? Were you a gladiator once? Were you a gladiator once? What's the ring? We know about the ring, don't we? Didn't we? Were we explained to that before? Or am I just remembering the common route portion that maybe came after this? I don't know. It's what's the ring? Okay. What's going on with this ring you mentioned? Why do you ask that? Did I not click the button? Apparently not. Thought I did. Sorry. When I passed by earlier, I accidentally overheard something about it. For some reason, Ion seemed to wrestle with himself for a while about what to say. Eventually, he opened his mouth in resignation. For a long time, I have been looking for a certain ring, all the while hoping that it would never be seen again, if possible. What do you mean? You're looking for it, but you don't want anyone to find it? Ion ended the discussion there and held his tongue. He finally shook his head and said, I believe it's around the time that everyone will have finished their investigation for the day, and we should return soon. I mean, we know, and we already knew the ring was missing, but I'm curious as to why he doesn't want it found, and he's okay. And do you have any preferences for dinner? I am familiar with many ingredients in this city. I shall make full use of my culinary skills. Just looking at him, Ion seemed perfectly normal as he spoke about cooking. But in my eyes, he seemed tense somehow. On my way back to camp, I felt a small seed of unease take root in my heart. And then where we're cooking dinner, that's when those dudes are going to come. Well, okay, we're chatting about our show and stuff like that, thinking about stuff, or we'll see if, I don't know if this is when the dudes, yeah, this is when the dudes show up. And then this is where Ion's going to whip out his eye. And the hair, the slicked back hair look, like, such a sexy CG, sir. I know it should be a little more, like, heavy because you're showing off your slave tattoo, but, like, it's our show, actually. Yeah, okay. I get that it has a lot of advantages, but we, the performers, don't want to put on a show where we kill each other. Hold up. It's not like you're really going to continue until one of you dies. We still insist. Even if it's just for the performance, we would never go with a plan that'd force our friends to hurt each other. Seriously? Your logic isn't making any sense. Are you saying you'll toss out my idea because of such an emotional and irrational reason? Yes, we are. We will not deny that accusation that we're being sentimental. Oh, okay. It was funny because I'm like, oh, we make a different choice here. Yes, because we make a different choice because before we were making the generic choices that didn't apply to anybody. Technically gave us the not exactly Ginny route, but what we ourselves cannot enjoy, we will not bring joy to our audience, at least not in the true sense of the word. After hearing what we had to say, fine, I get it. Abby roughly ruffled his hair as he let out an exaggerated sigh. Someone gave you a nice, effortless strategy, but you just threw it out the window. Skip to Malou, having fun, doing a thing, talking about our show. But again, we're doing the same demonstration. It's very weird. Here we go, now at our show. Ginny. Oh, Ginia, I'm not giving you a route as a crime. I'm going to say it in every fucking part until we get the fan disc. I feel like it's very likely. You know what I mean? Because again, like I said, they're not... After the show ended, we'll get to that in a minute. Our excitement was still strong as we split up to tidy the tent. Good work out there, Ion. Thank you. You too. I'm going to carry this thing away. Is there anything else you want me to take with me? In that case, I shall carry that with this item later. So could you leave it here? It will likely be rather heavy together. Got it. Is there anything I can help with over here? Could you lend a hand with putting away small items then? Yeah, of course. It was already our 4th show, so we were very used to cleaning up. As we worked, we continued our conversation. I'm so glad that the flora bloomed smoothly. Indeed. I am very relieved that it went well. I was honestly rather nervous when I was given the role of King Arthur. However, I've caused much trouble for you in this city. And please allow me to make a formal apology for fabricating my past and position, as well as all the trouble I caused. I'm very sorry. You don't have to apologize. I mean, you didn't cause us even a bit of trouble. I can understand why you'd hide your past. I was only a little surprised, that's all. As I spoke, I stared hard at Ion's face. I thought about the symbol on Ion's right eye that was currently obscured by his eye patch. Back then, I was flustered by the people that barged in and the atmosphere that created, so I didn't make the connection, but I'd actually come across something very similar recently. If I remember correctly. Yeah, a triangle. Give me your hand. This is a spell my gladiator papa taught me. It'll make you brave. It's called the symbol of bravery. This symbol was on Papa's arm, too. He's got 2, though. My intuition told me that the symbol was very similar to the curious triangle pattern Luna had drawn on my hand. Oh, it's true, it's a triangle pattern, and I was thinking triangles. But it's interesting, though, that her father had it on his arm, and Ion's got it on his eye. It's very prominent. Is something the matter? Ion looked a little unsettled, so I decided to speak my mind. You mentioned before that the symbol on your right eye is the mark of a slave, right? Yes. That being said, not everyone was tattooed with it. My insignia is a rather unique symbol that can only be found on a handful of slaves. See, it might be a different thing then. By different, you mean... Well, to tell you the truth, I came across a similar symbol a little while ago, and... Where? Where in the world did you see it? What? I'm begging you, please tell me. Did you find someone else with this tattoo? Or, it cannot be. Did you see a ring with this insignia? Ion, calm down! My apologies. I had a lapse in composure. Oh, does the ring have this insignia? I can't believe Ion got so shaken up. His face had suddenly turned fierce, and looking up at him, I took a deep breath. I didn't see it directly. It only came up in a conversation. You've met her too. Do you remember the receptionist at Avi's Arena, Luna? She mentioned it? And, well, as they say, speak of the devil and they shall appear. Ah! Found you! Hi, Spacey! And hi, Ion! The girl who'd interrupted our conversation was the very person we've been talking about. Luna, why are you here? I was watching your show with the kids from the orphanage I grew up in. It was wonderful, so I wanted to come thank you in person. Thank you for showing us such a lovely performance. For as long as I can remember, I've only seen shows where gladiators fight each other, so that was the only thing I knew, but I'm so glad I've learned there are shows out there that can make me feel warm inside. Instead of hot with burning fire or the knife slicing my stomach open. Our matron actually started bawling her eyes out at the end. Trying to console her with the other kids was pretty tough. As she spoke in a cheerful tone, her face lit up with an adorable smile. Her joy was contagious, making me smile back. Only I got to watch it with Papa. With her eyes cast down, Luna placed a finger against her chest and drew a symbol. It was the symbol of bravery she'd shown on my hand back then. This city is, well, you know by now, it's kind to strong people and mean to weak ones. After Papa was gone, the orphanage looked after me, but all the orphans think the same way. We're sick and tired of the idea that anything goes as long as you win, as long as you're strong. When everyone gave up on fighting back, we all thought we couldn't do anything, so no one had the courage to bring it up anymore. I'm the same. I'm surrounded by strong people and only do what I'm told. Every day I've gotten my hands full just trying to survive. But I think that'll all change after your show, for sure. Power isn't only physical. At least the orphans seem to believe that now. I'm also going to be braver from now on. Even if I'm slow to start, I want to stop biting my tongue and live like I want to.
The world is an unfair place. It is equally cruel to both children and adults.
Is the world cruel even to a strong person like you?
Luna, I wish to ask you something. Have you seen this tattoo before?
Oh, look, there's Ion Sprite without the eye patch. Oh, I was wondering if we were ever going to get this, and here we are. The moment Luna laid her eyes upon the insignia on Ion's right eye. Oh! Luna's eyes widened. The symbol of bravery!
Bravery? Do you know what this is?
Yeah, of course. Papa told me. It's a symbol that gave him the courage to beat up bad guys. Luna mentioned her dad was once a gladiator. Yeah, well, he passed away a long time ago because of an accident.
I see.
Look at Ion's sad little face. He's so precious. After Ion put his eye patch back on, he fell silent. He barely said a word until Luna left. You didn't kill her dad, did you? God, it's gonna fucking suck. Finally, when she was no longer in sight, I turned to Ion with a serious face. Symbol of bravery? That's what Luna calls it. Is that really what your tattoo means?
I cannot say that it is inaccurate. It does boost our courage, though that is done in a way that goes against our wishes.
What do you mean?
And during our journey, the topic of the core items of each city came up. And do you remember?
Yep, they're the items that the next king wears during the coronation ceremony, right?
Indeed. And I believe that we also talked about how Ferris's core item is the only one missing.
Right, the city's resentful toward the capital right now, so they aren't making much progress on the search, but Celeste mentioned that the government's still looking for it in preparation for the prince's coronation, right? What was it called again? The Intaglio ring?
Yes, the Intaglio ring is enchanted with a certain ability.
Ah. I don't see the pattern on that ring. Like, there looks like a sort of triangle. Actually, there is a triangle in the ring, but it's not like the... Okay, well, wait, there's a big one, and then there's a smaller one inside, and if you blew that up, then it would look like the Jewish star-esque kind of triangle pattern that he's got. You know what I mean? But it's not exactly the same. I was expecting it to look exactly the same, but it's not.
The great spirit of fire of Valen created the Intaglio ring. He was a fierce and impulsive spirit, earning the apprehension of those around him.
In the legends, they even wrote that he made a volcano erupt out of fury.
Aware of his quick temper, Valen wanted his friend Arthur to rein him in, and thus he gifted a certain ring to the man. With the words, "If I ever fly into a rage again, use this ring to stop me." That ring was enchanted with a powerful spell that forces its targets to show absolute obedience toward commands made by the wearer.
And if you have the brand on you that Ion has, like they can control you. Oh, and that's why he doesn't want the ring to be found. Or it's just the premise. Intaglio ring too. The ring can tattoo its emblem onto a human, and its wielder can force the branded humans to do their bidding. That's exactly what I thought. Son of a bitch. Even if one is tattooed normally, they can lead their life without issue. However, once the ring is activated, however, their consciousness is altered and they are forced to follow the orders of the ring bearer without question. That's why, oh my god, that's so horrible. Man, you thought you found out bad things about Ion in the comment round. Now you're like, it gets sadder!
It used to be under the management of the mayor of Ferris, but it was stolen. At some point, it ended up in the hands of the underground arena owner, and they used it as a cursed ring to dominate those tattooed with its insignia.
Wait, do you mean...
Yes, that is the brand on my right eye.
Ion placed a hand over the mark as he continued.
When the underground arena was purged, The ring was lost during the mayhem, and it remains missing to this day. However, if its owner ever appears and gives me a command, with this tattoo, I can never disobey, and I'll likely be reduced to a mere puppet, forced to faithfully execute their orders.
Avi has it, doesn't he? Doesn't he? Like, Leon's always around. I think he's fine. But, like, we know Balto's, like, the shady one that, like, ooh, we're gonna have a duel with when we go down Zephora's route. But, oh my god, are we setting up Avi to, like, have the ring and then, like, Ion's trying to stop him and then he's like, listen, I don't want to use it against you, but I'm gonna, type of a thing. Where he's not full-on evil, but he's gonna do a bad thing just for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't trust you.
Even if they ordered me to break the neck of someone precious to me on the spot, I could not fight back.
We traveled together for a long time, but in that moment, finally get it.
In that case, I shall say this. I am opposed to you two joining Circus. A lengthy journey comes with danger. No one can predict when trouble will strike. However, I'm afraid that I maintain my stance on your recruitment. I am still against it. I believe our journey is demanding and perilous enough to warrant that opinion.
The reason Ion tried to distance himself from everyone else must be because you're scared of yourself. You're kind. You're such a sweetheart. I think it's because you're such a sweetheart. Yes. You're such a kind person, Ion.
Wait, and where did that come from? Was this where this conversation was going?
Yeah, I finally figured it out. Ever since our first meeting, you've tried to keep me at arm's length. But that's because you don't want to drag the people around you into chaos if your fears come true, right?
Yes. No matter how much I cherish those close to me, I can never truly honor those feelings. Ironic indeed. The person I trust the least is myself, not anyone else. I will always cower in fear of a puppeteer that may one day appear out of thin air, and their shadow looms over me. For my entire lifetime I have been, and will always be, chained down by this tattoo.
Leon, did you possibly join Circus to find a way to remove it?
No, my reason is a little different. The government is already hunting for the ring. However, they still cannot find it. Alest has used me as a last resort. They're deliberately letting the final man with this tattoo roam free. And by doing so, they want to tempt the current owner of the ring. I'm bait. Before this, the days passed by in a meaningless blur. But if they wish to use my time for something worthwhile, I have no reason to decline. And that's why I chose to join.
That's so sad.
Even if the government discovers the ring and puts it under heavy security, then this tattoo is permanent. And this is something I'll bear until the day of my death.
See, Leon's tone was flat as he spoke, and the only thing I could do was gaze at him from his side. Don't you just want to hug him? He deserves to be hugged right now. Stop it. Guys, we haven't even gotten to chapter, I'm gonna skip until we get to the next part so that we don't have to start skipping when we get there. Anyway, what I was saying before we got the things is, like, I feel like, again, and I know I said this several parts ago, when they decide they localize an Otome game, I feel like it's not going to be too far behind now with them doing the fan disc, because I think years and years ago, like, they did Amnesia, but then they never did the fan disc because it was like, oh, we only got one game every year, maybe. You know what I mean? It was very sporadic, but now it's like, bam, they're whipping this shit out. They finally got on the ball that this is what we want. Their games are coming out constantly. So I feel like if they made the determination and decided that, hey, Radiant Tail is worth the risk of localizing for the English market, that the fan disc will surely follow, unless this did horribly. Unless it was like, no one bought this. But I'm pretty sure even the games that when you get, you're questionable and you're like, it's not my favorite, whatever. I feel like a lot of us buy every game. You know what I mean? Obviously cooking. Cleaning was Zephora. So we're going to go cooking. And then we will get Ion. So we will see him in the next part. But you know what I mean? So anyway, that was just my whole point there, but then we got distracted with plot and I didn't want to like interrupt. But yeah, so I have a feeling, I think it's fairly likely that the fan disc would get localized. I don't foresee it not happening unless for some reason they just decided, you know what, we're going to stop localizing Otome games because like nobody wants them. Which I think would just be crazy, and you might all have brain damage if that's the way they start thinking. You know what I mean? Like, are you okay here? Because we eat this shit up. These games get pre-orders, like, whatever. Like, so many people are like, limited editions, buy it. I bought the limited edition of Charade Maniacs, and I was like, I don't even know if I'm going to like this damn game. Like, I buy, like, some of them I don't. I didn't, there was another one I didn't. But, like, sometimes I'm like, it's worth the risk. It depends on what's in it, but, you know. And I buy all of them, even if I'm like, I'm not 100% sure I'm gonna like this game itself. Is it Jack Jean? Is that how you say that? Like, never like figure that out. That one, I'm like, we're probably never gonna play that one on the channel just because it's got like rhythm games and stuff like that. Plus, we have so many things. That one's, I'm like, I've never put it up in the poll. I have it. I bought it right when it came out. I pre-ordered everything, but I'm like, probably won't play it on the channel because it's not one that instantly appeals to me. Or I think it's the rhythm game stuff that I'm like, I suck at that and I fucking hate rhythm games. They suck at them. And I still play Twisted Wonderland, but I hate every time I have to do a fucking like twist tune and I'm like, God, I hate it. You know? And I'm not as bad at that, but I will not be able to manage it on the Switch controller while I'm recording, even though nobody's actually watching me, but I'll feel like people are watching me, and then it's going to be like a stage where I'm not going to be able to do it. So I was like, I'm not even putting that one in a poll. That's one I'm going to play it by myself type of a thing. I haven't bought the Norn 9 fan disc, to be fair, and because I personally don't remember, like, my thought now, it's one of those, like, when you're playing games, you're really invested, and you're like, yeah, we're having fun, this is a good time, and, like, there might be complaints and good things and whatever, but we generally have a good time, except for the badly translated ones, the Dogenzaka Labs games, they're mixed reviews, and they're a slog, and we want to choke ourselves every time, but we do that for fun, we know now, you know, but most of the games are fun, we have fun doing them, but then it's after the fact, you're like, I will probably never pick that one up again. Like, just to play it off on my own time. Or it's not when they're like, oh, yeah, no, play it! And I feel like Norn 9's one of those. I'm like, I barely fucking remember anything that happened in that. So, like, the fan disc coming out, I'm like, I will eventually get it, but we're probably not going to play it because I would have to replay the original game first. And I got so much shit just I personally want to play. I haven't even finished Fire Emblem Engage because Baldur's Gate 3 is taking up my fucking life. And there's so much in that game that I will probably be playing it for the next century. So, like, I got so many other games that I want to play on my own, and that I started and haven't fit that I'm like, I don't have time to replay Norn 9 just to be able to play the fan disc. So, probably won't ever do that. I mean, it's gotten to the point where, like, there's going to be games we can't play. Because they come out with so many. And you know what? I'm okay with this problem. I'm okay with it. And sadly, when I give you guys votes, nobody wants Winner's Wish except for one of you. There was one of you that posted, like, am I the only one that wants it? Yes, girl. Apparently so. Because I put it on there, and even I'm like, I kind of forget that I have this, and I have no idea what the plot is, because it just, I don't know. Like, I don't think they marketed it well, or it's just something about it that I'm like, what is this one about? Do I have this? Is this, and it's like, it's so, like, I guess because I haven't read the plot or anything, I'm like, it's probably really great, but it just seems like it's forgettable compared to some of the other ones that are coming out. But that one will always end up being on the poll. But, you know, these ones, the two that we're playing right now, are going to take us into next year. All right? Because this is October right now, as I'm recording, and as this is going up. And this is going to go in November, December, probably, and then by that point, like, okay, right now we are down to, we have Paradigm Paradox, Winner's Wish, and that's basically it of the games that end up in the polls. Oh god, guys, we only have 2. Oh wait. And there's probably like 4 more freaking games coming out in the fall before these games finish. So then we'll be like, instead of having a backlog of like 4 or 5 games, now I have 8. Like, the backlog's just gonna get bigger and bigger. Guys, again, not complaining. I say this with the biggest smile on my face. The backlog's getting bigger and bigger, and it's almost stressful as to which games we fucking play. Guys, it's so good! But anyway, we'll continue Ion's route in the next part. I just thought about that with the and even that Norn 9 fan disc came out. Okay, and Norn 9 came out a while ago. That came out. That was a Vita game, right? I don't think that was even on the Switch. Was it? No, that wasn't. And that was in the Vita days. That was before Vita was dead. So, like, the fact that and some of the older games are bringing out the fan disc, I have no doubt that this fan disc will come out. It's just the little slight chance it doesn't is giving me anxiety because I love Ginia, and how dare you not give me a route? It's a crime. Okay, I said it again. I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.